Hello and welcome to Find Your Freedom, a podcast dedicated to helping you truly find freedom in all aspects of life. Join your hosts and their expert guests as they share practical tips and strategies for finding more freedom in your life. It's time to take control of your life and create the future you want. Let's find your freedom. Here are your hosts, Lenny the Boss and Omid Rad Investor.
Boom, boom. We are back for another episode of Find Your Freedom. And if you are here with us, we are here with you, and we are so happy about that. Now, we're about to get into a crazy episode. I'm telling you, it's going to be great. I met this guy out in San Diego. It was so much fun, entertaining. But before we get into that, I'm going to let you know that this episode is being sponsored by Wealth Builders Mortgage Group. All right. So if you're looking to get a mortgage on your personal home, a long-term rental or a short-term rental, I'm telling you, there's no other place than to stop at Wealth Builders Group. Parker's team is amazing. Omid use them all the time. I use them all the time. So these are individuals that we use 100%. So in the show notes, you will see their contact. But I'm going to tell you, today is a good one. All right. Now, I love this, right? So I looked on this guy's website, and this is what it says. We work with the best partners so you can furnish, stock, but most importantly, save. All right. And I love that. Right. So let's welcome right now, Jeff from HostGPO. Jeff, what's happening with you? How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. I'm very, very excited to be here.
Cool. So Jeff, we're about to get into a whole lot because I know a lot of people are saying host GPO, like, okay, who is that? And when you tell them who you are, it's going to make so much sense to us, so many people. I sure hope that your internet is up and running. Like, go email whoever you need to email, because I'm telling you, there's going to be a whole bunch of people go hit your website, and I hope they don't crash your website at the end of the day after you let them know what you do. But Jeff, before you go into that, just give our audience a little background on yourself and tell us a little bit about HostGPO.
Yeah, of course. So I'm Jeff Iloulian. I'm the CEO and co-founder of HostGPO. And HostGPO, we are a GPO, which means Group Purchasing Organization for the vacation rental and furnished rental industry. So we're a buying group. We kind of are like a Costco, but specifically for furnished housing. So if you need to buy, furniture or linens or amenities, anything like that from name brands or from kind of the best partners for your property, you can get it all in one place and all at the guaranteed best pricing from HostGPO. So that's what HostGPO is. In my background, before starting HostGPO, I operated a vacation rental company. We were property managers. We were lease arbitrage folks. We would buy. We had about 150 properties located mostly in Southern California. And I had a ton of experience buying the types of things that HostGPO now helps make very easy to buy. And so it was a pain point myself that I felt and started this business about 5 years ago. Before that, a different pain point. I was a lawyer way back in the day. We don't necessarily have to go into that. We can go into it if you want to. If it resonates with anybody that is working a job that they are currently or walked away from at some point, it's a great feeling if you're able to do it. But happy to talk about that too. But yeah, so HostGPO, we've been around for about 5 years, and we have about 300,000 vacation rental properties signed up on our platform between the US and Canada.
300,000 already? Wow, I didn't realize you guys were that big. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's been really cool.
I want to jump into that, but before we do, I kind of want to just touch quickly on like you being a lawyer and kind of what inspired you to even start the company, because I think a lot of people they do the same thing. They do the traditional. They get their degrees, they get their job. They're getting a decent amount of pay, and then they get the golden cuffs. What made you decide, hey, this is maybe not what I want to do, and I want to just start up this company and help other people do it, as I'm learning myself?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it was, I was in that position. I was kind of happy, but also had these handcuffs. Like, I wasn't like miserable, but I just wasn't like super fulfilled. And it started, as kind of a a side hustle, right? It started as a dip the toe and see how it goes. And that first vacation rental property that I set up, that I was just kind of passively involved in, I wasn't even managing the first one. The first one I set up, and I had a property management company that was running it for me. And I was like, oh, wow, like this is so interesting. But then I started to get more involved with the guest messaging. And I was like, oh, I really like this. And I was based in Los Angeles, and I really loved sharing my city. And so then I was like, oh, maybe I'll try my own. And then I tried my own property. And it was just this like very gradual first few properties. And I realized I had this really serious passion for creating spaces, and for showing people around a city that I really cared about. And so that's kind of how it started. And once I kind of got to about 8 or 9 properties, that was the moment where I was cash flowing enough that I was feeling really good about what I was doing. I felt okay that even though I was walking away from a big paycheck, I was going to be able to at least cover my expenses and grow. And so it was when that happened that I kind of pulled the trigger and jumped all the way in.
Jeff, you are the ideal individual for everyone, right? You're the individual who went out. Obviously, if you're an attorney, you went to college, then you're like, I met you in San Diego, right? And I can tell right from the back, you're a go-getter. Like, you don't stop. You always want to go to the top. So as an attorney, I know that you went out and you did whatever you need to do to become the best attorney that you could be. And that's what everybody aspires to be, right? Especially our audience. They go out, they get this career, and they sit here and say, hey, I want to be the best that I can be. Then you start this side hustle, right? This side hustle. Like what made you even want to do this? When you got your career, you're working probably $1 billion hours a day. You have family, you got friends. Like, what even made you want to sit here and have this side hustle? I'm pretty sure you was making a good living as an attorney.
Yeah, I think it was really just thinking about, obviously the financial part of it is a huge piece, right? You'd be kidding yourself to say that money's just not important, right? It is. It's an important part of life. You can't just, look away from that. But there are things other than money that make you feel fulfilled. And I think you have to shoot for all of it. You have to shoot for the moon. And for me, I was in this position where I had the financial component, but what's the triangle? It's like, work-life balance, financial, success, and then you can like what you want to do, but like you can't have all three. You can only have two. And so I felt like I was very, very comfortably in the financial component where I was making money, and I didn't really have a great work-life balance, but I didn't really like what I did. And so I was like, how can I try to get 2 of these 3 at least? And I think for me, it was looking down ahead. The moment specifically was when I was an attorney, I was looking at all of the partners above me. I was looking at the people who had the career path in front of me. And I was looking at all of their lives, and I didn't see myself or my future in any of their lives, which wasn't to say that they weren't living amazing lives. They were living lives that they found fulfilling. They were living lives that they really enjoyed. But for me personally, I wasn't inspired to go down any of those directions, to have any of those people be my mentor. And when I started to look at who around me and was doing things that I found very interesting or found myself drawn to, it was all the entrepreneurs, it was all the business owners, it was all the people that work for themselves. My father is a business owner. I grew up around that. And so I just, that was the mentality that I always had was, I wanted to work for myself, and I wanted to feel fulfilled in what I was doing. And I didn't want to cap on what I could achieve. And so those were all the kind of reasons that made me make the jump originally.
All right, so let's talk about HostGPO a little bit. So you how do you even initiate this business? So and then how do you even grow it? Because I mean that's a beast in itself. So I think a lot of people they're maybe at the stage where they're like, I'm gonna do this. And then they jump into it and they're like, whoa, wait, this is way more work than I expected. And even growing the business, I mean, that's a beast in itself. So maybe like kind of like walk through that process. Just like your thought process and how you overcame kind of some of those obstacles.
Yeah, of course. So I think HostGPO, the unique problem to starting a business like this is it's a two-sided marketplace, more or less, right? So essentially on one side, you have all the hosts and furnished property owners, boutique hotel folks, interior designers, the people that are buying the furniture, linens, etc. Right? And then on the other side of the marketplace, you have all the brands. And so we work with brands like West Elm, Pottery Barn, Crate and Barrel, CB2, Rugs USA, Helix for mattresses, Nearly Naturals for fake plants, Society, a bunch of different brands that we think have the best quality and price point product for either a luxury rental or a basic rental or a mid, but we try to choose one brand for each tier. And so how do you build a bridge from two sides? This is a two-sided, a problem. And so the way that we kind of went about doing it was, on the one hand, I already had my vacation rental company. I'd been to a couple of vacation rental conferences like the one that we met in San Diego. I networked. I met a bunch of other hosts that had a bunch of properties too. We started out right out of the gate with already thousands of properties. It wasn't tens of thousands, but it was maybe 4,000, 5,000 properties. So we had at least something to hold on to on one side. And then on the other side, we went to these brands, that we had really worked hard to identify. And some of them are more obvious, like West Elm. Everybody knows West Elm or Pottery Barn. You know it's going to be quality furniture. But a brand like Standard Textile, that's a linen company that sells they sell the sheets to Marriott, Hyatt, Hilton, Ritz, right? So how do you even find that company to begin with? Then how do you get on the phone with them? And then how do you explain what you're trying to do and how you need pricing that's as good as, better than what Marriott's getting for an entire group of people, moving forward, because they have the quality product that you've identified that makes sense for a vacation rental property that can go through hundreds of washes, but also can give it to you at a price point and ship it to multiple locations that makes sense for the other side of the buyer buying group as well. So how do you build a bridge from both sides? That's kind of the biggest problem that HostGPO had starting out as a business. And I think it was a lot of conviction, a lot of belief, a lot of dreaming, right? And getting buy-in from our members, who at the beginning were getting good deals, but not as good as what we're getting now, right? As we get bigger, as HostGPO gets bigger, our deals keep getting better and better because we keep getting bigger and bigger. And on the other side, it's going to vendors and saying, look, you have the best art. You have the best art platform. Society6, I think, has the best art platform because it's hundreds of thousands of different SKUs, and you want to be able to have art that's unique to the vacation rental and the property rather than just generic art, right? So going to a brand like that and saying, look, you have the best product for this space. I'm going to get your product into all of these businesses so that they know that this is who they should be buying from. And so, it was a little bit of, this is where we're going, getting everybody to see the collective vision of what it is we were going to do and then building from there.
That's great. That's great. So let's take one step back, right? Let's
Sure.
clearly define what HostGPO is, so the audience know everything about your company,
Yeah.
and then let's go from there. So if you could just let everybody know what HostGPO is.
Yeah, of course. So essentially, HostGPO, we are a buying group. So if you need to buy furniture or linens or amenities or anything that you need to put inside of your physical home, you join us like as a member. So kind of think of it like a Costco, right? You join, you pay an annual membership fee. It's $120 a year. And once you pay that membership fee, you're able to log into our website and see all of the vendors that we partner with. So you can see the, however many furniture companies we partner with. You can see our mattress companies that we partner with. And you can see what the deals that we've negotiated are with those brands. And on average, our members save about 40% off of retail pricing, which is really significant. And so our thought is, we made this buying group. You can log in. You can buy all the furniture, stuff from the brands that you trust, the brands that you want to learn about. We can send you free samples. And then you're able to buy that stuff at such discounted pricing that, if you're running around right now and buying, sheets from Target and you're buying, your toilet paper from, Costco, you're able to get better pricing than you can get on Amazon, than you can get from these different, from the same brands a lot of the time, right? We'll partner with the Amazon bestsellers, but we're just cutting them out of the equation and letting you buy direct in exchange for paying a membership fee. So that's kind of how it works. It's just a online marketplace you log into. You can see all the different, brands that you can buy from and all the different products, and then you can check out and purchase from them directly.
So I think it's an awesome service. And when you think about different operators, I mean, you start off as a small business owner and you do what small business owners do, and you don't know what you don't know. And so you're buying here and there. And but I like that it's, one-stop shop. So maybe you can you share, like, what are the most common items that are purchased, like, by your members? Like, what,
Yeah.
so that way you can give a little perspective to the listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you start thinking about most frequently purchased items, that's going to be like soaps, shampoos, and even linens, things that get turned over a lot because of damage or just because of use, right? Like you go through a lot of hand soap in a property. And so to be able to buy quality hand soap at like a very reasonable pricing and have it shipped in small quantities is like what people really do over and over and over again. So that's kind of the most common stuff. And then the things that I think people learn and buy over time are this. We've really educated a lot of folks, to your point, Omid. Like there is a ton of learning, right? I learned myself. I started buying all IKEA stuff. I mean, I checked out of IKEA with 48 shopping carts. That was a learning experience. That was a painful learning experience. And you learn, you build the furniture, and then it's in there for 3 or 4 months. You have a couple guests, starts working, it starts bending, and then you realize, okay, now I got to buy a new dining table or a new coffee table. I got to take this one out. I got to put the new one in. I got to refund the guests because they showed up and it was damaged. I got a bad rating. And so all of a sudden you learn all that stuff the painful way. Not to mention you have to build all the furniture in the first place, which is also a pain. But educating people on, hey, look, these companies like West Elm, they have contract grade furniture. And contract grade furniture means that it's manufactured to be used in a commercial setting. So it would endure the wear and tear. You think that like, a giant hotel or a restaurant and their chairs that they're using, they're just going to buy them off of, Amazon or IKEA and just like build them and put them together? No way. They're going to buy contract grade furniture that's going to last for at least a handful of years, if not longer. And you don't have to replace them. So learning that kind of stuff, educating folks on that. And to your question, those are the most purchased things: the contract grade furniture, the commercial grade linens and towels, the sheets, that kind of stuff. People really, really flock to that. And then most commonly, the soaps and shampoos just get replaced and replenished. So there's a lot of purchasing there too.
It's pretty interesting. So, quick question. So, who
Mhm.
is your ideal customer?
Yeah, so the best Host GPO members are anybody that's either one, setting up a new home, right? If you're just setting up a new property, you're about to spend so much to set up that property. I mean, even we have some members who,
Jeff,
yeah,
can I interrupt you real quick? So, when you
sure,
say set up a property, like, are you
yeah.
talking about a short-term rental? Are you talking about long-term rental? Let's be very specific on what you're talking about here.
Yeah. So if you're setting up any sort of furnished rental, so that can be a long-term rental, a mid-term rental, a short-term rental, a corporate stay, a boutique hotel. A lot of these have like crossovers with each other. But if you're setting up a furnished property, you are from the ground up, you're about to spend a ton of money furnishing that home. Or apartment or hotel or whatever it is. And for folks that are purchasing there, even if it's a 3-bedroom home or a 4-bedroom home, I mean, we have folks that otherwise would be spending, 5, 10, 20 grand to set up a property. And if we can save them 40%, even if they're spending 50 grand or 60 grand, you can save somebody 40%. That is a huge savings. So anybody that's setting up new properties, either regularly or even about to, Host GPO makes a ton of sense for. And then on an ongoing basis, if you have, I would say, even if you have 3 or more properties on an ongoing basis, just the amount you'd save on replenishment, replacing a rug, replacing the soaps and shampoos, like you'll save your membership fee. We actually guarantee you'll save more than your membership fee. So if you don't, which has never really happened, we will refund you.
No, I mean, I like that. It just reminds me, like you said, like Costco. I mean, I'm at Costco literally. I don't shop anywhere else, so I get everything from Costco, and I think like this is the equivalent when it comes to whatever type of furnished rental that you're running. You have access to whatever you need, and that way you can set up for, like, reoccurring sort of orders if you need, whether it's like consumables, or on the flip side, if it's you're doing a flip, you're doing whatever, you have like opportunities to access furniture that's higher grade as well. That'll last a long time. What about like shipping costs? I know sometimes or shipping like turnaround time, because I know sometimes that's always a concern. Like people are on like timelines, and what does that look like on average? Just so that listeners are familiar with that as well.
Yeah, it's a really good question. And I think the when you start thinking about shipping timelines, the thing I always tell people first is our team, our Host GPO team here, we're all hosts. Everybody that works at Host GPO has hosted or worked at a big vacation rental company before. And so it's not just like, hey, here's your login and go for it and have fun. It's a membership group and you join, and we provide free consultation calls. So you can talk to somebody who's a host and say, hey, I'm trying to buy all this stuff. These are my timelines. What should I be getting? And they'll work with you and say, hey, you're on a 2-week timeline. You can only look at this furniture. You're on a 3-month timeline. These are some more options for you too. And so we're able to help guide people in the right direction in terms of timelines. Now, furniture can come as quickly as within a week. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend you do that. And the reason is because you're limiting your options. You have to buy things that are in stock and are shipping immediately. And the longer of a timeline you're able to give yourself, the more cohesive of a place you're able to set up that looks better, that's going to perform better. And it's such a crunch to try to get something live that quickly. But, for linens or soaps and shampoos, I mean, that stuff, mattresses usually arrive same week. And a lot of it's made and packed to order. And so it's not like you're ordering these mattresses that are manufactured somewhere overseas and you don't know what they are, and they're sitting in boxes for a year before you even get them. So, and you're paying less than that. I mean, again, it's just, these are things that I've experienced myself, and it's nice to know that you're getting like made in the U.S. mattresses, made to order, that are quality and all that good stuff too.
Awesome. So there's going to be someone who's going to be listening to this, and they're going to say, hey, I have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and man, this Host GPO sounds exactly what I need right now. But I need
Yeah.
a budget. Like how much money should I put aside? So
Yeah.
can you help that person who's saying, "Hey, I got a 3-2, and I'm looking to use Host GPO. Like, how much money we're talking about here to furnish this place?"
Yeah, it's a range, and what I'll say is we do offer a 3-month free trial to Host GPO, and part of that is you get that free consultation call, so you can hop on the phone and say, "Hey, I've got this 3-2 property," to what you're saying, Lenny, but it's in Texas, and this is the style, and it's in a really basic apartment building, or I got this 3-2 property and it's on the beach and it's in Florida and it's super luxury. How much should I be spending? And the range, to answer your question, you can spend anywhere from, $4,000, $5,000, all the way up to $40,000-$50,000 furnishing a 3-2, somewhere in that range. I mean, people definitely do it, and sometimes it makes sense. Now, definitely not everybody should do that. You don't want to spend $50,000 on your furniture and have to pay it off over 6 years if you're renting it $30-$40 a night. But there are options for every price range, including the most basic. I mean, we partner with this company, Walker Edison, that has super affordable furniture, and it ships very, very quickly. It's kind of like when you think of like a bestseller or like a vetted seller from like an Amazon or a Wayfair. We just go to them directly, so you can get like kind of the best of that version, and at pricing that's less than what they have. So again, we have that full range of entry level sheets. If you want microfiber and you're really looking for that like low price point, we have that. But if you want the same sheets that the Ritz-Carlton has in its hotels, there's that too. No matter what, you're buying it at 40, 50, 60, 70% off. And so it's going to be in a price point that's accessible.
Awesome.
I think that's great that you have the ability to actually talk to somebody, because I think sometimes people get in the space and they get overwhelmed and they just need somebody to kind of bounce ideas off of, or just like somebody who maybe has a little bit better insight that can kind of direct you as far as like what makes sense. What about like, do you guys have any sort of services around like interior decoration or like, because I know that seems to be like a big component of like a success of a property, and walk us through that if there's any sort of service like that.
Yeah, so we actually have a couple options. We have a free interior design program for folks that are doing new homes from the ground up. That's a partnership that we have with Williams Sonoma. So it's all the Williams Sonoma brands, Pottery Barn, West Elm, etc. And you can work with our team. And if you are doing a certain tier of house and size of house, you can qualify for that free interior design program, which is really amazing. We've done hundreds of homes through it, and it's awesome. If you're doing something a little bit more a la carte or smaller, we partner with a ton of interior designers and interior design companies that we can refer you to. And again, you can get that free consultation with us and our team, so we can at least guide you in the right direction and tell you, hey, you need an interior designer. This is somebody for you. One of our favorite partnerships is we work with this company called Showplace, which is amazing. If you're doing something where you are setting up a vacation rental or a furnished home, and it's in another city and you're not there, and you need somebody to not just do the interior design for you, but also help consolidate all the items in one place, do the installation for you. I mean, they charge for the design and the consolidation installation, but that's an option that you can do if you're remote and trying to set up a vacation rental property somewhere else. Otherwise, if you're going to be there, the ability to kind of receive deliveries, we tell folks, and I know your question earlier, Omid, about like shipping timelines and stuff like that, and just shipping in general. When you order from a brand like Crate and Barrel or CB2 or West Elm or Article, right? These brands will consolidate your furniture for you and build it for you as well. You pay a flat rate, from like West Elm, it's like $299, and they'll build all of your furniture and put it in the house for you too. And so to your point of like, what are the shipping costs and how about like, what are the shipping savings? Like, how much time are you saving in not building that and paying somebody $299, or how much time are you saving even just not going to Costco every day? I mean, we have if you really want to buy this certain thing that you buy from Costco, or you really want to buy something that you buy from Target, like, hey, this is the one I use. Great. HostGPO is a free partnership with Instacart. So you can get a free Instacart business membership, which is exactly the same. It's actually better than their Instacart Plus membership. So that's like $100 a year you have to pay for normally. You get a free Instacart business account through HostGPO. And you get cash back and all the stuff that you wouldn't get otherwise. And then you can order from Costco and Target and those brands and just have it delivered to your property, if that's really the direction you want to go, or you need to buy something last minute. I mean, for my vacation rental property recently, I did the same thing where I had to buy I had to replace a coffee maker that was broken when the guest was there. And, ordering next day would have been good, but not great. Ordering for it to arrive for free within an hour or two from Instacart was a much better option. So.
That's awesome.
Very, very awesome. So, one of the things that a lot of people think about is, when can I go live? Right. So, you find a property, you close on a property, you get with HostGPO, and you find everything you need. What's the time frame on, once you get with HostGPO on saying, hey, I have everything I need, everything's in place? Like, when, what's that time frame on when they can go live so they can start making some money?
Yeah, I mean, look, you can do it. You can do it pretty quick. I would say, if you were trying to go as fast as you could, I would say you could probably get a property live in 2 weeks if you really wanted to. Okay. If you really wanted to, and you were like, I'm in an absolute rush and I just want to order boom, mattresses, linens. And we try to make it really easy too. Like, we have this stuff called bed boxes and bath boxes and kitchen boxes. So you can one click and get all the stuff you need for the kitchen. Or you can say, hey, 3 beds, 2 baths, basic level. And click it, and it's going to ship you a box of the right amount of pillows, the right amount of sheets, and so you just get one box of those. So you can move really quickly. We try to make it easy, as easy as possible. Now, if you're thinking, I'm going to get this property live in 1 week, which I've done before, and I just wouldn't recommend doing it. I would say, if that's what you're thinking, you just sign this, you just got the keys, and you're like, I'm going to be generating rent 1 week from now. I would recommend the first day of that week, you spend just doing a bunch of self-reflection, meditating, setting intentions for yourself, looking in the mirror, thinking about what am I doing with my life? You shouldn't be planning to set up a property in 1 week. You're probably not in the right headspace for running a business right now. I've been there. There's a better way to do it. And I would say 2 weeks is really the minimum. Recommended time is 4 to 6 weeks. I would say if you're really trying to do it right and you're setting up a home for the long term and really trying to curate the space and make it look design forward and all that kind of stuff, you really want to give yourself 4 weeks.
So I agree with you. I mean, you definitely don't want to rush it because things are going to get missed, and then you're setting up photos, you have everything lined up, and then something's missing. So and then you have to go back and redo the work, and then it's just going to take more time on the back end, and or redesign or refurnish, and then just more work on the backside. So
you're usually thinking about you're usually missing the picture anyway. So I got an apartment set up one time in like, I don't know, 10 days, and had the photographer there taking pictures. I had the first guest check in and realized we never turned on the gas. So we never called to turn the gas on. So the guest was there and the stove didn't work because we'd never even called to turn the gas on because we were moving too quickly. So again, wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so I feel like we've gone through quite a few services. I really like what you mentioned on like the box service, where just like you click and it's like the whole kitchen. Oh, that's like a time saver, because I think for me sometimes, you click on the kitchen and you're like, okay, did I miss something? And then like you forget something, and it's just nice to kind of just click it and it's like, okay, kitchen set, boom, done. Is there anything else that we're missing, or any other blind spots as far as like services that are offered? Or how to best utilize your services?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things I'll throw out, like regardless of whether you need to be buying anything right now, or even if you have a place live. To your point, we have a free checklist we give away that's everything that you need to put into your vacation rental or furnished housing. So like if you are furnishing a midterm rental or long-term rental or anything like that, and you're just wondering, do I have everything that I need? Sometimes you might not think about, like, I don't know, maybe you don't ever use a microwave. Maybe you don't ever use a rice cooker. Maybe you don't use a certain type of pot or pan or blender. It's just nice to look at a comprehensive checklist, and we give that away for free. So definitely check that out if you're interested. And then the other thing I'll say about HostGPO, I know I mentioned that we partner with Instacart, but we also have a ton of other services on there as well. So we partner with, for example, StayFi, which is a Wi-Fi collection service, and HostGPO has the best pricing for StayFi users if you're a user, or if you're looking to find a cleaner for the first time, we have a service that does that. If you're looking for pricing software, we have a service and a discount that does that. So we have some services that are specifically available to for short-term rental and kind of operators as well. And then I would say, things that you might not think of, like HostGPO partners with Ace Hardware. So if you're doing like renovation work, or you have a local Ace Hardware and you're going into Ace Hardware, that's a nice thing to be able to, pop in and get your discount, there. So that's kind of another one I'll throw out as well.
Awesome. Man, listen, HostGPO just sounds like something that everybody needs, man.
Yeah.
It just sounds like, because a lot of the time when you get into this business, it's a lot of stress. And you go through the underwriting of buying the properties, and that's a whole bunch of stress that we don't even need to talk about. And then you have to furnish the property to get the property right, where you have guests that comes in that's going to appreciate all the amenities. So, and it sounds like Host GPO helps kind of relieve that second stress, I'm going to say, after purchasing the property, of getting all those amenities that you need, in the property. So I guess, Jeff, if you could tell us just, what's the number one issue that you guys run into, or guests run into, that you can kind of give advice right now to that individual who want to go with your company?
Yeah, I would say, for number one kind of guest issues, or area where we do a lot of consultation, I would say one of them would just be like the biggest pain point for any guest showing up at a property, which is the lock, right? How to get into the property, right? That's the biggest pain point. If you can't even get in, you can't even get into your property, and so we do a lot of lock consultation. So we partner with Yale, Schlage, Igloo. We partner with Google Nest. And so, regardless of and maybe different locks are going to make sense for different people. If you have a cabin that's not really on reliable Wi-Fi, don't use a Wi-Fi lock. Use an Igloo lock that has that algorithmic changing code. If you are, in a certain type of property, maybe Schlage, or using a certain type of property management software, maybe Schlage's going to be the right partner for you. And so, or which lock, right? If you're located next to the water, you need a coastal grade marine Schlage lock. And knowing what that is and having somebody be able to suggest that to you, and being able to buy it at the best price. So that's something I would say we do a lot of work on is lock consultations.
Oh yeah, locks are big, and there's always seems to be a shortage of them. It's like I'm always looking for the Schlag on code, or it's like
Yeah.
yeah, people like stock. I like my handyman's always stocking them just because sometimes they're just hard to find in a timely fashion.
That's what I'm saying. And how nice would it be if you were purchasing at the volume of a part of a giant group that just had a direct line of access to the source? I mean, let me tell you who was never out of those locks was Schlage themselves. So, maybe your local store was out of them, but you could always get them from them directly. They have plenty. So, this is, again, now I know we're past the era of COVID shipping delays and all that kind of stuff, but I can tell you during the great toilet paper shortage of 2021 or 2020, HostGPO members had a direct line to buying because the business lines weren't shut down, even though the consumer lines might have been. So, anyways, it's a small little wins like that, but that's a part of it too.
For sure. No, so I mean, I love everything that you've shared. I feel like we've did a pretty comprehensive, like, deep dive into the services. I feel like the listeners are already ready to take down your information, but I'm gonna ask you one question before we do that, and then I'm sure that the listeners are gonna be writing, subscribing. But what does Find Your Freedom mean to you?
Yeah, I love that you guys asked that question. I think for me specifically, finding your freedom is about finding your own solution to a problem. And that's kind of what HostGPO was for me, right? I was an operator. I was a property manager. I was buying a ton of sheets. I was buying all the wrong furniture and finding my freedom from these problems that were in my business, right? Finding a way to kind of break away from that and finding a solution to my problem, which, I would love to say, look, we love helping people. We love helping other hosts. I think it's amazing to help other businesses be able to save money and save time. But I would be lying through my teeth if I said I didn't start HostGPO for purely selfish reasons of I didn't want to pay full price and I didn't know what to buy. And so this was finding my solution to my own problem. That was the kind of impetus to solve this and kind of how HostGPO started. So.
That's cool. So listen, there's going to be a lot of people who's going to be really, really, really knocking at the door of HostGPO, and they're going to know how you can solve all their problems because they're going to be coming out of underwriting, which is a stress within itself. And the next step is getting their property right for, them to take the next step to get the right guest in. So how can people either find more information or contact you or contact HostGPO? How can people find you, man?
Yeah, so it's hostgpo.com. We have a ton of information on our website. We're also at HostGPO on all things, Instagram, social, etc. I would really recommend folks check out our Instagram. We provide a lot of hosting tips and a lot of property setup tips and design tips and things like that. So make sure you really poke through the Instagram. But what I'll say is it is a 3-month free trial. So there is no commitment. You don't even have to give your credit card information. We're not in the rope you into something business. Well, if you don't save if you don't save more than your membership fee in your first year, we'll refund it. So it's a 3-month free trial. This is a community of hosts and operators that have gotten together, and it's really more of a membership than anything else. So join, sign up, log in, poke around, get some free samples, book that call, talk to somebody. Let us help or figure out how we can help. If you have any questions, there's also a live chat on the website, so you can chat in, talk to another host, and we're happy to answer any questions too.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we're coming to the end of the show. And at the end of the show, what we like to do is we like to sit here and, this is the time where our audience turn down these speakers because we like to, you know, bust their speakers out right now. So Jeff Omid, what we're going to do is we're going to have to do this big boom session. You guys ready?
Let's do
Ready?
it.
Oh man, audience, turn your sound system down right now because they are ready. All right. So with that being said, I'm gonna count to three. In a uniform manner, we all gonna say boom as loud as we can. All right. So 1, 2, 3. Boom! Awesome, 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 awesome. Listen, check this out. We just have Jeff from HostGPO. And what I really like about Jeff is one, if you ever get a chance to meet him, he's genuine. He's a super cool guy. And if your energy is low, he's going to bring your energy levels from whatever they are up to 100. All right. And honestly, when you want to do business with someone, you want to do business with someone that's genuine, that cares, that got great energy. And I'm going to tell you, Jeff at Host GPO is that individual. So I highly suggest that after you close on that deal and you're ready to sit here and furnish that property, that you contact Jeff, because not Jeff, but Jeff and his team to get your property ready. He said, look, you can have your property ready in less than 2 weeks, ready to go, make some money, because that's what you in for. Now, I'm going to tell you, I want you to listen to this episode and I want you to leave an honest 5-star review, because that's how we bring more Jeffs on to our platform to give you the value that you need to continue to move forward. And we also need you to subscribe. So we need you to share this episode, share the platform with all your friends, all your coworkers, your grandma, your mother, your sister, your brother, all your nieces and nephews, all the people that you like at work, and all the people that you don't like as well. Until the next episode of Find Your Freedom, we talk to you soon. Peace.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to Find Your Freedom. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. While you're at it, please help us spread the word by leaving a rating and review and sharing the podcast with friends, family, and colleagues. Until next time, get out there and find your freedom.